Okay, wife. Here we are again. Reading some 1984. A little late, but here we are. We'll bring this a little closer if that's okay.
Am I foot in the way? Is that what you're...
Yeah.
You sound like a fucking sumo wrestler. My feet are about as wide as one. Sumo wrestler.
They're about as wide as a sumo, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Sumo's is pretty strong.
I'm just fat.
That's a few little adjustments.
I scratched my crotch and then I took a bite of the tortilla with that hand.
I'm not offended.
You should be.
Ugh. Why should I be offended that my wife is doing that?
Doesn't matter, I said should. Like everybody else.
Ah.
I don't need a reason to tell you what to do. Haven't you heard of Hitler before? Don't you know what happened to the Jews?
Yeah, they lied and stole a country and ruined the world.
Eh? You're not even talking about Poland, are you?
Nope. Oh. Fresh tortilla.
I put some butter on that one. I didn't put salt on.
I put a little.
You want me to start reading so you can eat? I had like 4 of them already.
That's alright. I will find this place.
Can we
Oh,
share
sorry.
the tea?
Yeah. What happened last time, wife?
Fuck. I think we're having flashbacks.
He was talking to a guy who,
Oh yeah, he was trying to answer questions, getting questions answered.
Yeah.
He was trying to ask the guy what the world was like before Big Brother came in, when they were having problems communicating, or at least Victor, Vincent. Please tell me this. Winston.
Winston.
Winston couldn't hear what the guy was saying. He couldn't translate it in his head. He couldn't gather information from what he was told. Oh, we need to take brownies.
Well, if you want to read.
It doesn't matter at this point. You could just smoke. If you wanted to.
Smoking sounds good. Brownie also sounds good.
Pick and choose.
I would say do brownie, and I don't have to do as much. We're starting to run up here. Is what in effect?
Okay. Quarter of a quarter. For me. But in effect, wow, my eyes suck. But in effect, it was unanswerable. I want to start a little back. Was life better before the revolution than it is now? Would have ceased once and for all to be answerable. If people died. 20 years. Because everybody's getting disappeared and, right?
Oh, yeah. And everybody's slowly losing their memory.
But in effect, it was unanswerable even now, since the few scattered survivors from the ancient world were incapable of comparing one age with another. That's not necessarily true. Quarter of a quarter.
So here's a quarter, and you want a quarter of this quarter? Like that a little bit.
What are you talking about? It's what... the same thing we've been talking about forever. Quarter. Oh. Well, we've always been saying quarter of a quarter.
Quarter, and then we do like a quarter, and then a quarter of a quarter.
It's like a half a quarter. Right?
Yeah. So you want half a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wife.
Well, maybe we should just start over again. Did you have some?
No, I haven't had it yet.
Tiny little... That's really a quarter of a quarter?
Yeah. Do that, and we'll do some smoking and find where things lie.
Shoot up some crack.
Yeah, crack and heroin. Let's just shoot up antifreeze.
Ooh. We got any chemicals we can sniff?
We got some pine sol and some bleach.
Think of some a little harder.
Thank you. We might have naphtha turpentine or something.
What killed Bob Ross? It's odorless, so it's okay. There's no fumes.
They remembered a million useless things. A quarrel with a workmate, a hunt for a lost bicycle pump, the expression on a long-dead sister's face, the swirls of dust on a windy morning 70 years ago. But all the relevant facts were outside the range of their vision. They were like an ant, which can see small objects but not large ones.
They can't?
I think they look at a pretty big building. They look at the ministry.
Ants?
Humans.
I'm talking about ants.
I think ants can see big things too. Maybe not in... What's big? A lot of things are big to an ant. Cat. They could probably see a cat.
Do they see a person? Or if it's from a distance, they can probably see it, right? Unless I don't know how their eyeballs work, vantage points, and...
Yeah. How far can they see?
Ocular thing. Well, how much does Winston know about the fucking senses of an ant, anyhow?
When the memory failed and written records were falsified, when that happened, the claim of the party to have improved the condition of human life had got to be accepted, because there did not exist, and never again could exist, any standard against which it could be tested.
Yes, it can. Reality. Right? Doesn't matter if Big Brother is doing the best job because nobody did a better job. There can be a better job done.
I think he's saying they can't. And never again could exist. Well, then what's he hoping for the proles for? I thought he was talking about because the past got changed.
He flip-flops a lot. Doesn't he? I mean, he usually talks about his... There's hope and desperation that just flip-flop, flip-flop. He was just in a bombing.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe that's why he's so upset. And he doesn't realize it yet.
At this moment, his train of thought stopped abruptly. He halted and looked up. He was in a narrow street with a few dark little shops interspersed among the dwelling houses. Immediately above his head, there hung 3 discolored metal balls, which looked as if they had once been gilded. He seemed to know the place. Of course, he was standing outside the junk shop where he had bought the diary. A twinge of fear went through him. It had been a significantly rash act to buy the book in the beginning, and he had sworn to never come back to the place again.
It's like he has to forget it. He's trying to forget it.
Yeah.
How often does that happen with people? If you're doing something that you'd rather forget, is that just life? That you're stuck doing things that you'd rather forget?
I think that might be.
What about you? Whenever I say these things, you can always relate to yourself.
I've been in that mindset where everything is, you just want to forget, you just want to get through.
And what about having to forget because you might incriminate yourself that you did something that somebody else didn't like?
I've forgotten things when it was important that I remembered them. And I've lost memories and I've made up memories like Winston has.
Well, we're talking about a specific instance. Or a specific kind of instance. Like, I remember if... I can't think of a true example right now, but somehow related. If I were to go steal a cookie from the fucking cookie jar, my mother accuses me, preemptively, somehow learned at some point, I would block it out like, no, I didn't. I definitely didn't eat that cookie. In fact, I didn't eat that cookie so much that I want another one, you know? It helps create the lie better when you block the memory out of... It's like part of the lying process.
Is losing that part where you did the lie?
Yeah. Or did the thing that you feel the need to lie about.
Okay, because it wasn't just the lying part with you and the cookie, it was stealing the cookie to begin with.
Mm-hmm. It helps to create the lie in the future when you have to lie to somebody. Pretty sure that's just like the lying process. You don't feel that at all?
There's some. I think that the forgetting part is sometimes in an extreme case. Maybe, maybe not. I guess it wasn't too extreme for you, lying about a cookie.
No. Like, let's say it was shoplifting was something that I can remember now. If I was shoplifting, taking shit without paying for it. When I was really young. I put something in my pocket and try to forget. Actively, I feel my brain doing it, trying to forget that the thing is there. That the stolen thing is in my pocket.
I feel like I've gone down the same path doing that same kind of thing, but memory's kind of vague.
Further proof?
Maybe, wife. And yet, the instant that he allowed his thoughts to wander, his feet had brought him back here of their own accord.
Oh.
It was precisely against suicidal impulses of this kind he had hoped to guard himself by opening the diary. At the same time, he noticed that although it was nearly 21 hours, the shop was still open. With a feeling that he would be less conspicuous inside than hanging out on the pavement, he stepped through the doorway. If questioned, he could plausibly say he was trying to buy razor blades.
Gotta think of the excuse.
Yeah. Not forgetting it, though, coming up with more ways to hide yourself. The proprietor had just lighted a hanging oil lamp, which gave off an unclean but friendly smell. He was a man of perhaps 60, frail and bowed, with a long, benevolent nose, and mild eyes distorted by thick spectacles. His hair was almost white, but his eyebrows were bushy and still black. His spectacles, his gentle, fussy movements, and the fact that he was wearing an aged jacket of black velvet gave him a vague air of intellectuality, as though he had been some kind of literary man, or perhaps a musician. His voice was soft, as though faded, and his accent less debased than that of the majority of the proles. "I recognized you on the pavement," he said immediately. "You're the gentleman that bought the young lady's keepsake album. What a beautiful bit of paper that was. Cream laid, it used to be called. There had been no paper like it made for, I dare say 50 years. He peered at Winston over the top of his spectacles. "Is there anything special I can do for you? Or did you just want to look around?" I was passing," said Winston vaguely.
Passing gas.
I just looked in. I didn't want anything in particular." "That's just as well," said the other, "because I don't suppose I could have satisfied you." He made an apologetic gesture with his soft palm hand. "You see how it is. An empty shop, you might say. Between you and me, the antiques trade just about finished. No demand any longer. No stock either. Furniture, china, glass, it's all been broken up by degrees. And of course, the metal stuff's mostly been melted down. I haven't seen a brass candlestick in years." The tiny interior of the shop was, in fact, uncomfortably full, but there was almost nothing in it of the slightest value. The floor space was very restricted, because all around the walls were stacked innumerable dusty picture frames. In the windows there were trays of nuts and bolts, worn-out chisels, penknives with broken blades, tarnished watches.
Pen knives?
Pen knives.
Never know how that is. Why would you need picture frames?
Yeah, don't want to remember anything of the past. It could be changed.
Or don't have anything anyway.
Tarnished watches that did not even pretend to be in going order, and other miscellaneous rubbish. Only on a small table in the corner was there a litter of odds and ends, lacquered snuff boxes, agate brooches, and the like, which looked as though they might include something interesting. As Winston wandered around the table, his eye was caught by a round, smooth thing that gleamed softly in the lamplight, and he picked it up. It was a heavy lump of glass, carved on one side, flat on the other, making almost a hemisphere. There was a peculiar softness, as of rainwater, in both the color and the texture of the glass, but at the heart of it, magnified by the curved surface, there was a strange, pink, convoluted object that recalled a rose or a sea anemone. What is it? Said Winston, fascinated. That's coral, that is, said the old man. Must have come from the Indian Ocean. They used to kind of embed it in the glass. That wasn't made less than 100 years ago. More by the look of it. It's a beautiful thing, said Winston. It is a beautiful thing, said the other appreciatively. But now there's not many that say so nowadays. He coughed. Now, if it so happened that you wanted to buy it, that'd cost you $4. I can remember when a thing like that would have fetched 8 pounds. And 8 pounds was, well, I can't work it out. That was a lot of money. But who cares about genuine antiques nowadays? Even the few that's left.
Make it too expensive, nobody's gonna buy it.
Yeah. Even the few. Winston immediately paid over the $4 and slid the coveted thing into his pocket. So now he's got the paperweight. Now he's got a book.
Such a desire to collect old things.
But
to have older things.
Yeah. And but at the same time, he's like trying to stop himself from doing all these suicidal things. But yet he's doing things that
thoughts and action not in accord with each other.
That's what you mean when the insides don't match the outsides. What appealed to him about it was not so much its beauty as the air it seemed to possess of belonging to an age quite different from the present one. The soft, rain-watery glass was not like any glass he had ever seen. The thing was doubly attractive because of its apparent uselessness, though he could guess that it must once have been intended as a paperweight. It was very heavy in his pocket, but fortunately it did not make that much of a bulge.
Will you put anything on Twitter? Not that it fucking matters.
No. I was in a little bit of a rush to... But I did not. Just like I didn't do the thing before we started, the thumbnail before we started. I got that. Doesn't make much of a bulge.
Did you put just a George Orwell one at least? Thumbnail?
Yeah, I was able to get the thumbnail up while we were.
Well, then that's different because you did that.
We had started. I guess I could still put one out. I mean,
you're leading what I'm saying with your stuff. You know?
It is different. But I did not.
Okay. You said that. Okay.
It was a queer thing, even a compromising thing, for a party member to have in his possession. Anything old, for that matter, anything beautiful, was always vaguely suspect. Do you think that Julia's, she wore something around her hips, right? Would that thing be considered vaguely suspect?
No, 'cause she got it from her youth group. It's a thing from the government.
The old man had grown noticeably more cheerful after receiving the $4. Winston realized that he would have accepted 3 or even 2. He lit up another lamp and, with bowed back, led the way slowly up the steep, worn stairs along a tiny passage, into a room which did not give on the street but looked out on the cobbled yard and a forest of chimney pots. Winston noticed that the furniture was still arranged as though the room were meant to be lived in. There was a strip of carpet on the floor, a picture or two on the walls, and a deep, slatternly armchair drawn up to the fireplace. An old-fashioned glass clock with a 12-hour face was ticking away on the mantelpiece. Under the window, and occupying nearly a quarter of the room, was an enormous bed with a mattress still on it.
Oh shit.
That was might have been a little loud. We lived here till my wife died, said the old man, half apologetically. I'm selling the furniture off little by little. Now that's a beautiful mahogany bed. Or at least it would be if you could get the bugs out of it.
Ugh.
But I dare say you'd find it a bit cumbersome. He was holding the lamp high up so as to illuminate the whole room.
How would anybody bring anything?
Yeah, what's the moving thing? You got, oh, comrade, come help me move this. Come help me move this bed? Why do you have a new bed? You looking to be comfortable? Why are you looking to be comfortable? Mm-hmm. And in the warm, dim light, the place looked curiously inviting. The thought flitted through Winston's mind, and it would probably be easy to rent the room for a few dollars a week, if he dared to take the risk. It was a wild, impossible notion, to be abandoned as soon as thought of. But the room awakened in him a sort of nostalgia, a sort of ancestral memory. It seemed to him that he knew exactly what it felt like to sit in a room like this, in an armchair beside an open fire with your feet in the fender and a kettle on the hob, utterly alone, utterly secure, with nobody watching you, no voice pursuing you, no sound except the singing of the kettle and the friendly ticking of the clock. And there's no telescreen, he could not help murmuring. Ah, said the old man, I've never had one of those things. Too expensive. I never seemed to feel the need of it, somehow. Now that's a nice gate leg table in the corner there. Though, of course, you'd have to put a few hinges on it if you wanted to use the flaps. There was a small bookcase in the other corner, and Winston had already gravitated towards it. It contained nothing but rubbish. The hunting down and destruction of books had been done with the same thoroughness in the prole quarters as everywhere else. It was very unlikely that there existed anywhere in Oceania a copy of a book printed earlier than 1960.
They don't even need to do that shit these days. People are willing to just throw all that shit away like it has no value.
Yeah,
like
those
it means nothing.
Yeah. Those bookstore people, oh, if it's more than 50 years old, we don't take it because it could smell or something. Doesn't matter what's in it.
Who's gonna keep up with that shit? What are those people gonna do who are getting rid of it? Probably just fucking burn them.
End up in a fucking landfill.
There's no value in anything anymore. 20,000 people at any given time are watching a fucking slut getting wet in a bathtub.
All those people listening to Neurotic are that.
Bitch, ooh, my nostalgia. My escapism. Fuck you.
That Hassan Piker dude.
We're fucking queer.
Ben Shapiro, why?
Because they all think people are saying something that needs to be fucking said. Because children were raised by fucking invalids. And now they're raising their own fucking retards.
The old man, still carrying the lamp, was standing in front of a picture in a rosewood frame which hung on the other side of the fireplace, opposite the bed. Now, if you happen to be interested in old prints at all, he began delicately, Winston came across to examine the picture. It was a steel engraving of an oval building with rectangular windows and a small tower in front. There was a railing running around the building, and at the rear end there was what appeared to be a statue. Winston gazed at it for some moments. It seemed vaguely familiar, though he did not remember the statue. "The frame's fixed to the wall," said the old man, "but I could unscrew it for you, I dare say." "I know that building," said Winston finally. "It's a ruin now. It's in the middle of the street outside the Palace of Justice." "That's right, outside the law courts. It was bombed in... many years ago. It was a church at one time. St. Clement's Dane, its name was." He smiled apologetically, as though conscious of saying something slightly ridiculous, and added, "Oranges and lemons, say the bells of St. Clement's." "What's that?" said Winston. "Oh, oranges and lemons, say the bells of St. Clement's. That was a rhyme we had when I was a little boy. How it goes, I don't remember, but I do not know it. But I do know it ended up, 'Here comes a candle to light you to bed, and here comes a chopper to chop off your head.' It was a kind of dance. They held out their arms for you to pass under, and if they came to 'Here comes a chopper to chop off your head,' they brought their arms down and caught you. It was just names of churches. All the London churches were in it. All the principal ones, that is." Winston wondered vaguely to what century the church belonged. It was always difficult to determine the age of a London building. Anything large and impressive, if it was reasonably new in appearance, was automatically claimed as having been built since the Revolution, while anything that was obviously earlier dated was ascribed to some dim period called the Middle Ages. The centuries of capitalism were held to have produced nothing of any value. One could not learn history from architecture any more than one could learn it from books. Statues, inscriptions, memorial stones, the names of streets, anything that might throw light upon the past had been systematically altered. "I never knew it had been a church," he said. "There are a lot of them, really," said the old man, "though they've been put to other uses. Now, how did that rhyme go? Ah, I've got it. Oranges and lemons, says the bells of St. Clement's. You owe me 3 farthings, says the bells of St. Martin's. There, now that's as far as I can get. A farthing. That was a small copper coin. Looks something like a cent."
They Americanized their money.
Oh, the cent?
And a dollar?
Finding anything interesting?
No, I was just looking to see what it looks like. And what is this, like just the Amazon fucking version of Twitch? Or something?
Well, Amazon owns Twitch. This is the knockoff version of that.
What do you mean knockoff? I would imagine that there's somebody important fucking running this, or else the shit wouldn't be running.
Yeah, maybe they, maybe it's like Starbucks and Seattle's best. Maybe the Amazon owns Kick.
Yeah. Sounds about fucking right.
Where was St. Martin's? Said Winston. St. Martin's? That's still standing. It's in Victory Square, alongside the picture gallery. A building with a kind of triangular porch and pillars in front, with a big flight of steps. Winston knew the place well. It was a museum used for propaganda displays of various kind. Scale models of rocket bombs and floating fortresses, waxwork tableau illustrating enemy atrocities and the like.
I wonder how he got such a good recreation of like North Korea. Don't they have a Victory Square and they got all those propaganda museums? Every place you go is a propaganda museum. They don't have anything else.
Are you talking about in North Korea?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no museum of stuff. Even like, what was that weird thing we watched about North Korean artists? It's all kind of the same thing, but all under a book of pro-communist stuff, right?
Pro-North Korea stuff. Pro-North Korea government stuff.
Oh, and speaking of North Korea, I don't know if you saw a while ago or if I mentioned it at all, but there was some black fella who was part of the U.S. Army, and he was not happy with things, and so he defected to North Korea.
They found his body.
No, the North Koreans are kicking him out.
Why?
I'm sure there's some sort of exchange going on, but they said they're going to
give us this guy back because we're gonna fucking give him a penalty, punish him for wanting to be in North Korea more than here. Fucking disgusting.
I think the thing I said there, like he was unhappy or something like that and wasn't doing the things that was asked of him. So I guess he's lucky they didn't just fucking shoot him. So my guess is maybe they're using him as a piece to get a different piece back.
But also, what the fuck is going on? You know, we don't fucking know anything.
No.
All this shit is just... It's like everything is a farce. Wake up. Everything's just a farce. Nobody wants anything but the farce. They want to bitch about the farce. But they wouldn't know real if it sucked them off and made them come.
St. Martin's in the Fields, it used to be called, supplemented the old man, though I don't recollect any fields where... I don't collect any fields anywhere in those parts. Winston did not buy the picture. It would have been even more incongruous to incongruous possession than the glass paperweight, and impossible to carry home unless it were taken out of its frame. But he lingered for some minutes more, talking to the old man, whose name, he discovered, was not Weeks, as one might have gathered from the inscription over the shop front, but Carrington. Mr. Carrington, it seemed, was a widower aged 63 and had inhabited the shop for 30 years. Throughout that time, he had been intending to alter the name over the window, but had never quite gotten to the point of doing it. All the while that they were talking, the half-remembered rhyme kept running through Winston's head. Oranges and lemons, say the bells of St. Clemens. You owe me 3 farthings, say the cell of St. Martin's. It was curious, but when you said it to yourself, you had the illusion of actually hearing the bells of a lost London that still existed somewhere or other, distinguished and forgotten. From one ghostly steep after another, he seemed to hear them pealing forth. Yet so far as he could remember, he had never in real life heard church bells ringing. He got away from Mr. Carrington and went down the stairs alone, so as not to let the old man see him reconnoitering the streets before stepping out of the door. He had already made up his mind, after a suitable interval, a month, say, he would take the risk of visiting the shop again. It was perhaps not more dangerous than shirking an evening at the center. The serious piece of folly had been to come back here in the first place, after buying the diary and without knowing whether the proprietor of the shop could be trusted. However, yes, he thought again. He would come back. He would buy further scraps of beautiful rubbish. He would buy engravings of St. Clemens Dane.
And put it where?
Over the telescreen. Looks better. He would buy the engraving of St. Clemens, take it out of its frame, and carry it home concealed under the jacket of his overalls. He would drag the rest of the poem out of Mr. Carrington's memory. Even the lunatic project of renting the room upstairs flashed momentarily through his mind. For perhaps 5 seconds, exultation made him careless, when he stepped out onto the pavement without so much as a preliminary glance through the window. He had even started humming to an improvised tune, Oranges and lemons, say the bells of St. Clemens.
Now, how would he know anybody was there? Everybody wears the thought police wears a uniform? I don't think so, buddy.
Yeah. You owe me 3 farthings, say the... Suddenly his heart seemed to turn to ice and his bowels to water. A figure in blue overalls was coming down the pavement, not 10 meters away. It was the girl from the fiction department, the girl with the dark hair. The light was failing, but there was no difficulty in recognizing her. She looked him straight in the face, then walked quickly on, though she had not seen him.
Julia?
Yeah. For a few seconds, Winston was too paralyzed to move. Then he turned to the right and walked heavily away, not noticing for a moment that he was going in the wrong direction. At any rate, one question was settled. There was no doubt any longer that the girl was spying on him. She must have followed him there, because it was not credible that by pure chance she should have happened to be walking on the same evening up the same obscure back street, kilometers distant from any other quarter where party members lived. It was too great a coincidence. Whether she was really an agent of the thought police or simply an amateur spy, actuated by officiousness, hardly mattered. It was enough that she was watching him. Possibly she had seen him go into the pub as well. It was worth an effort to walk. The lump of glass in his pocket banged against his thigh with each step. Okay. You see the dog was laying down in there, right? It was worth an effort to walk. The lump of glass in his pocket banged against his thigh at each step, and he was half-minded to take it out and throw it away. The worst thing was the pain in his belly. For a couple of minutes, he had been feeling like that he would die if he did not reach a lavatory soon. But there would be no public lavatories in a quarter like this.
So worried about frickin' Julia, that he's thinking about pooping.
Then the spasm paused, leaving a dull ache behind. The street was a blind alley. Winston halted, stood for several seconds, wondering vaguely what to do, then turned around and began to retrace his steps. As he turned, it occurred to him that the girl had only passed him 3 minutes ago, and that by running he could probably catch up with her. He could keep on her track till they were in some quiet place, then smash her skull in with a cobblestone. The piece of glass in his pocket would be heavy enough for the job. But he abandoned the idea immediately, because even the thought of making any physical effort was unbearable. He could not run, he could not strike a blow.
He's gotta poop.
Apparently. This is a crippling poop. He got blown up, that wasn't so bad. Walked it off. But having to take a crap out in public.
Why don't you just poop on the floor? Everybody else does.
Right? Besides, she was young and lusty and would defend herself. If he thought also of hurrying to the community center and staying there till the place closed, so to establish a partial alibi for the evening. But that too was impossible. A deadly lassitude had taken a hold of him, and all he wanted was to get home quickly and then sit down and be quiet.
If I stay very silent and still, nobody will know that I did something they don't like.
Yeah. He's doing the thing. Everyone leave me alone. Just wait to die. It was after 22 hours when he got back to the flat. The lights would be switched off at the main at 23:30. So he had an hour and a half left of lights left before it's like prison.
I guess even on the inside of his apartment, right? Not just the outside, the street lights.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's got a candle. Spending all of his money on fucking crap.
Well, he's got, if he needed it, there's some light from the telescreen. And since it's always on, you can't ever turn it off.
Don't give me light, but make sure my TV's on. They do that in North Korea too. They have certain hours where they turn off the power.
Oh fuck! All around?
I believe so. If the places that do have, it's only like Pyongyang that has electricity from, but that's just hearsay.
Yeah, I haven't been there. It's not like we can trust that Korean lady. That I'm activist.
We can't trust nobody.
He went to the kitchen and swallowed nearly a teacup full of victory gin. Then he went to the table in the alcove, sat down, and took the diary out of the drawer. But he did not open it at once. From the telescreen, a brassy female voice was squalling a patriotic song. He sat staring at the marbled cover of the book, trying without success to shut the voice out of his consciousness. It was at night that they came for you. Always at night. The proper thing was to kill yourself before they got to you. Undoubtedly, some people do. Many of the disappearances were actually suicides.
How does he know any of this? He doesn't tell us, right?
I don't think so. But it needed desperate courage to kill yourself in a world where firearms or any other quick and certain poison were completely unprocurable. He thought with a kind of astonishment of the biological uselessness of pain and fear, the treachery of the human body which always freezes into inertia at the exact moment when a special effort is needed. He might have silenced the dark-haired girl if only he had acted quickly enough. But precisely because of the extremity of his danger, he had lost the power to act. It struck him that in the moments of crisis, one is never fighting against an external enemy, but always against one's own body. Even now, in spite of the gin, the dull ache in his belly made consecutive thought impossible. And it is the same, he perceived, in all seemingly heroic or tragic situations. On the battlefield, in the torture chamber, on a sinking ship, the issue that you are fighting for are always forgotten, because the body swells up until it fills the universe. And even when you are not paralyzed by fright or screaming with pain, life is a moment-to-moment struggle against hunger or cold or sleeplessness, against a sour stomach or an aching tooth.
When you live in hell.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be that way.
You asked a question earlier. You've been asking questions on those gaming live streams.
Mm-hmm.
I take it you probably didn't get an answer today. How do we get things better?
No.
How do you think we get things better, wife?
Get mad as hell, declare you're not going to take it anymore.
Each person?
Yeah. Figuring out what we're mad about. What's the point of being mad? Life. Survival.
What are you mad about?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm mad that I was brought into a world to be a fucking prisoner. I'm mad that there are people who have and do control me who are dumber than me. Who don't have... I hate fucking liars make me angry. Falsehoods make me fucking angry. Stupidity makes me fucking angry. Having My goal to find what's best be hindered makes me angry. Elon Musk makes me angry. Every idiot who doesn't see how stupid he is and how stupid they are for believing anything he says, not doing the research. I hate people who get money to promote things. I gotta eat, right? Fuck you. Liars don't get to eat. What doesn't make me angry? Martha Stewart makes me angry.
So what do you,
slutty old women like her. Sorry, what?
so what do you do with that stuff that makes you so angry?
What do I do?
Yeah, do you just sit and be mad at Martha Stewart? What do you do with that anger?
What have you seen me do with my anger? Cry a whole lot, try to find a solution, try to change fucking everything, and put myself out there, give the opportunity. Not gonna, can't be a fucking fraud like the rest of them. Defeats the purpose. Leave myself vulnerable. Somebody please throw a fucking stone at me. I disregard them and anything that they do. I look down on them.
And you see what they do wrong, so that's why you look down on them?
Mm-hmm. I see their fucking noses up at me.
Is that reason enough?
Is what reason enough? To what?
To look back at them with the way that...
Is what reason enough?
Because they're...
They got their nose up to me?
Yeah, for...
Yeah, because when you have your nose up to someone, you believe you have information. You believe you have power. You believe you have the answers. You believe you should be followed. So if I don't look down on them, I'm looking up at them. And fuck that.
There's not looking level with someone.
I haven't found anybody to look level at. I've tried. But they all have their limit break. Oh, I won't cross that line because I might lose money, or I might, well, maybe your empire is built on fucking pee-pee and doo-doo. I get what I need from someone, if that's all there is, or get what I want. Okay, funny man, make me laugh for a second so I can continue for one more fucking day. Doesn't mean I'm gonna fucking build them an altar.
I think this...
They gotta get level with me too. Those people have to know. And they have to do the actions like they know. Not act all fucking high and mighty. Look up at someone who acts all high and mighty, giving them what they want. Terry Crews probably let some Jew touch his dick. So okay, if they'll get me a role.
Like Scary Perry?
Mm-hmm. Men acting like they're fucking women. Fuck you. Women shouldn't have done it either, but who's gonna take the responsibility? One or two? Who takes responsibility for being the first?
It's got to be the first.
Men have the power to be the first, so... Or cry because somebody touched your fucking wiener. Do something about it. Let's just fucking all bottle everything up until everybody's a fucking school shooter. And there's no children to school shoot. I don't know. What's the best thing? Let's all just take fucking drugs and Bill Gates can keep the world, right?
You think anybody would have been mortified if Terry Crews had punched that Weinstein guy right in his face? And if he didn't work again, he just like stood with his stories. Like, listen, this
Did
guy
you say
touched
Weinstein touched his fucking wiener?
I thought so.
Oh. It's like if you're gonna be all big and bad and point out the similarities between yourself and a bunch of fucking women, why don't you point out the differences too? Hey, maybe strong men need to take over the world. Or at least it's a possibility. Strong men have to be good men. They have to take over the fucking world to take it away from these fucking greasy buggers. So I'm gonna punch this guy in the face. I'm gonna tell everybody about it. And we're gonna fight for something. But it's not gonna happen because you go down the fucking legal routes and now you have the power of the government. Let's just say this is idiocracy and he gets to be fucking president. Following all those that go in a fucking court, putting your fucking suit on, having to use their fucking language. It's all for fucking naught. None of it fucking matters. It's all fucking stupid and gay. Senseless. What are they teaching in school? Government is the father that fucking beats the shit out of you for your entire fucking life? Because if they're not teaching that, they're not telling the truth.
Yeah. Learn a lot about dumb things that the government was involved in, but we're still to trust them.
Fucking baddie.
And not just, oh, they did some bad things once or twice. They've been doing this shit since the country was founded. Doing bad things to the people.
All it takes is just people who are smarter than this shit. But because they don't look down on government, on politics, they can't see how low it is. Because they don't have the top view. They'll always have that shadow of fucking this and that and the other thing. The stupidity. They can't define themselves. You can't define yourself past the stupidity that you partake in.
You can't define yourself past the stupidity that you partake in.
Yeah. You can't do actions that are less stupid than the stupid things that you do. Because that's where your bar is.
So here's the bar.
If
Less stupid is up here.
If you're raised by a fucking moron, and you believe that fucking moron did the right thing, and you don't see anything else past that fucking point, how are we gonna know anything else? We disagree with everything that disagrees with stupid. You argue for a thing that is stupid. How are you gonna find smart?
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Nope.
Sounds extraordinarily stupid.
That's why if people fucking argue and don't look at two sides, it's undoubtedly they're doing the wrong thing and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Argument's just a sign of everything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And they fucking hold on to it like fucking crack.
Mm-hmm.
He opened the diary. It was important to write something down. The woman on the telescreen had started a new song. Her voice seemed to stick into his brain like jagged splinters of glass. He tried to think of O'Brien.
Why? Ugh.
For whom or to whom the diary was written. But instead, he began thinking of the thing that would happen to him after the thought police took him away. It would not matter if they killed you at once. To be killed was what you expected. But before death, nobody spoke of such things, yet everybody knew of them.
Even in this, it's not old age, but death is just the thing you expect. You live constantly inside the mindset of fucking death. Everything has to be, well, I'm gonna fucking die anyway. I'm gonna be murdered anyway. It's just a matter of time, so I might as well enjoy what I can. What happens when there's fucking nothing to enjoy? Only stupid people think they're going to heaven. With self-awareness, you're like a fucking animal.
To be religious. To believe in something that is so full of contradictions.
Mm-hmm. At this point, you're proving your value as a sentient human being. Alright? Didn't God fucking tell you free will, yada yada? You're not using it. You're letting other people decide what that book says.
Do you consider yourself an atheist?
I would never consider myself an ist. I'm not. I don't use those kinds of words. And I think you expected that.
Yeah.
That's how you form communities. Fuck that.
There's a common thread that goes around the 4chans. There's this girl looking at you real weird. It looks from some weird ass movie. But why can't atheists define atheism? And that question never gets answered. It is just merely into religious fights.
What do I mean atheists can't define atheism?
I'm
sure they all fucking can in their own special way, just like fucking the other side, the Christians. They'll say whatever the fuck they want. They all got a different version of the same stupid book. When you look up to history, then you're not moving towards the future. You're not able
when you look
to
up
see
to
change.
history.
Yeah.
Because you should be looking down on history because you should be smarter than.
Yeah. It's climbing a ladder, not fucking descending into stupidity and madness.
But you want to be looking down.
It's just a metaphor. Able to look down, you have to look down. I would imagine, but time isn't a literal fucking ladder. So you do look down. You do look behind. People look for the past and the future. Oh, when is the biblical prophecy gonna come true? It's not the way to do it. And nobody is looking at the fucking in the present. It's doing in the present, but not observing yourself doing in the present.
So is there any reasoning with people who believe in God and that they will go to heaven because that is the greatest and most ultimate awesome thing?
No, just like everybody else, they fucking run away. The more you run away, the more people have run away. These days, the more militant they become in their own little pockets of the world. It's not about fucking. Some fucking idiot said he's a good dad. He creates propaganda for Christianity. It doesn't matter that you're supposed to tell the truth. He thinks, while pretending he thinks he's not above God, is acting above God. Motherfucker said, don't lie, right? Motherfucker said, I don't know, a whole bunch of other shit. Talking about free will and whatnot. Meanwhile, you have to, if you believe in something, you have to do the actions. If you're not doing the actions, you can't say you believe in that thing. You're just a piece of shit who does and thinks whatever the fuck you want. Even the people who pretend to understand. Yeah, motherfucker, you can pretend to understand, which is just another way of saying I'm gonna say one thing and do the other. I'm gonna think one thing and say the other. All trash. They live in their weaknesses.
How can you tell their weaknesses?
It's where their anger strikes.
If you are angry, you are weak.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Because you don't have control. And if you're blah 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 God, you're supposed to be doing those good things and you don't have control over yourself and then you get fucking angry. All I have to do is fucking be forgiven. God forgives me. I don't. What does that say? That the law keeps you safe from me? You get to go off being a fucking twat? And I have to fucking seethe? Something ain't right about that. More fucking mommy daddy shit. Nana boo boo. You can't hit me because I've already reached mom and she's gonna fucking see it when... if you do. It's cheap. Everybody's fucking cheap. And they're not talking about understanding whatsoever. And the whole concept of God is an interruption between what you see on the outside world and what you think. As soon as you add God to that, that's how you make that fucking bridge from think to know. Instead of keeping them fucking separate, because you don't fucking know. What if all this time the God you hear in your voice is just fucking your own? Everything. If God exists, He wouldn't have created something to be unprovable. Because everything else that we can know, we do know. There's nothing that's hidden behind an obvious secret fucking code. It's all out there for us to understand. So we can understand fucking math. We can understand what we see, what we taste, what we feel. We can make shit go up in the sky. We can maybe go make shit up into space. We can send fucking phone calls across fucking waters or whatever. There's a lot of things that we can do because of the weird shit that we do know. And we didn't have to fucking fight some weird deity for it. It was just, everything is there for us to know. As soon as we can know it, we can know it. So if we can know God, we would know God. And any idiot who doesn't observe the things around them, but still spouts fucking God, is a hapless fucking fool. Who's looking for validation, looking for the meaning of life, looking for purpose, looking for something to blame something on, something to fucking put their energy in. Whatever the case may be, they're not looking for wisdom. There's no wisdom that can come from just reading the Bible. They could say words, but they can't, from the Bible or from whatever Bible they read, they can't make that shit up themselves. They can't tell you what it fucking means. They just want to regurgitate it because they want to feel like they're using it as a spell. Whatever meaning I have of this fucking thing, I'm giving it to you now. Motherfucker, I don't know what you're talking about. When was the last time we measured shit in bushels? Fuck you.
Is there something about the Bible that, or Christianity or church, what makes, I guess, sermons so powerful?
Hurt. There's some sort of hurt, hopelessness, or physical pain, or that there's an escape from the world as it is, and all you have to do is just fucking believe. It's the closest thing people's got to figuring shit out on your own. They're just pretending like God's walking with them, but they're really just doing it themselves. Or not doing it. Getting some sort of feeling inside themselves to just let it's like a hit. I can fucking go on for the week if I know that when the weekend comes, I can just fucking pill out or something, you know? That shit wears down. There's a voice inside of ourselves because survival that leads us back from the depths of desperation. That's not fucking God. Because some people don't make it. It's whatever's in our fucking heads. Our heads have, people don't fucking know this, they have just these operations that they go through. That they think they control everything in their fucking mind, but they don't. They don't. You don't. Things come to your head and you have to consider them with a different part of your head. And sometimes it takes a whole bunch of shit to make sure, oh, I won't become a serial killer, because I gotta go through all these things in my head why I shouldn't fucking just kill everybody. Oh, it's not gonna work, and those voices in your people create voices in people's heads. That's why they fucking chirpy chirp at them. That's why Big Brother has that shit all around them, because they have to permeate every part of a person. So that your thoughts are Big Brother's. And they know how they need to do it. They know that people need the 2 minutes hate. They know they need their fucking victory gin and cigarettes. Fucking cigarettes. Victory gin. It's like they fucking have this shit that goes on all the time. Everybody's dumping shit everywhere. But take from the individual because it's the easiest. Fuck that. You hate your fucking life because of this, that, and the other thing. We're not going to do anything about that. In fact, we're incentivizing to do that. It's easy and it's fucking lazy and it's retarded. Every single person who is in government, has participated in government, they're either retarded or evil or some combination of the two. But everybody who doesn't see that, they're all retarded. At this point, you have to be the most evilest of persons or absolutely retarded to rely on government or see it in any position above you. So what, they can kill you. Fuck them. They're killing you anyway.
Oh.
They're murderers.
Oh, man. You look like...
Any fucking father with a badge, you're a fucking murderer. Fuck you. Any military person, fuck you. I gotta be indoctrinated because you were being indoctrinated, or you were indoctrinated, whatever. Your mom's an inside job, fag. Everything's so disgusting. Anyway.
There was something I was gonna say along with yours about the fucking value. But I couldn't form it fast enough, and you went by so fast.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
too dumb and slow. Maybe I'll get better.
You can make me stop. If you don't want to just poke me for a second, I'll give you time to think. If I'm aware that you want that time to think.
Well, thank you, wife.
What did I say about value?
You didn't say the words, but you had said them previously, and I thought that it had applied to what you're saying. There's something about people's lives and the dying thing, and it seemed
A
to.
while ago, sorry. What is the value of life? They don't fucking know when they go in and do that military shit. They don't know what their value is. Back up, Josie, please. They don't know what their fucking value is. They are trying to deliberate based on all the things around them, the incentives of the fucking military, the incentives or disincentives of the rest of their fucking world. What they like doing, that blah 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 blah, you know? And then, at least our generation especially, they see some shit and they develop a personality either of blah 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 military or blah 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 it's fun to do this stuff, or blah 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 blah. But gotta have stuff, right? Gotta give me my benefits. Give me my fucking days where you praise me. Give me my respect. Something, something, defending the country. It's like, when's the last time? Look what's happening here. You're not defending shit. You're distracted. And that makes you stupid for believing that you're defending shit. It makes you evil, too. Open your fucking eyes. I'm sorry that you agreed to a mistake. We all nobody made this fucking choice in life. But it's time to make one now. It's time to make one now. Stop living in the fucking past. Make a good decision now. Want wisdom. I want to get out of the fucking hole that we're in. That just leave me alone until I die. Everybody pretends to know everything.
If there was a list, a tier, if you will. You're making these very interesting masquerade type.
Dirty napkins?
Yeah. First one had that long nose. I couldn't quite tell if it was going to be round, kind of like a gonzo nose, or if it was going to be more bird-like, like those
That's up to your interpretation.
creepy doctor things.
This is the real AI. This is where you just let your brain do something. Like Bob Ross paintings. You just make the basic shape and let the brain do the rest, like clouds. Sorry, a tier list?
Yeah.
What?
Things that are the most valuable. That you think we could create
Yes.
a list.
Yes.
Things on that list. Things on that list have to be in that position because they exist as a bidipole, and it wouldn't make sense if those things were switched. It would fuck up the rest of the list.
Yes.
So, what to you, wife, and to what value, or to what thing is the most valuable, and what that you hold that is the most important, and that you would tell everybody else has to be the most important?
The life of the self and the life of another.
So if we're doing this list, life.
Yeah. But there's different life. There's also like, well, what do you do about fucking cows that are tasty and shit?
Yeah.
But yes, life would have to be, because you could measure everything. You can measure the life of a cow. Hey, it's fucking tasty and it's really good for you.
Knowing life having the most thing, and yours should have the most, and you got to figure out where the life of a cow would fall into.
I guess, but it's a hard situation because if you make your life the most valuable, does that mean you get to do?
Well, mine is valuable because yours is valuable. Because if everybody does the right thing, we can all be valuable to our families, to the benefit of mankind. If we're all doing the right thing and everybody's moving in the right fucking direction. Not that you're caring about the motherfucker over there, but you're not hindering them, and they're not hindering you. To coexist in a beneficial way without being so gay and friendly.
It comes from kind of another bidipole about that past and future, because life is important because it is. If everybody went, oh look, this bird is so beautiful, look all these trees and this and that. There's a beauty in that. Then it has to be known that there is innate beauty in being able to recognize beauty and being able to maintain beauty and being able to change beauty or understand it. So there's a beauty in the self. There's also a beauty in the self, or a love, whatever, for the self, because you were meant to be loved. Because you were a baby. You were born innocent And by innocent, I mean the most fragile of all the babies, of all the animals that have ever existed. We have the most fragile babies. You know, a little fucking amoeba or something, but they're the lack of sentience, the lack of motor skills, movement skills, whatever you want to call it, even like our skin is fucking, for our environment, we must have it pretty good to have such naked babies. That we have them for such a long time, and it takes such a long time to fucking make them. You don't make like a litter of fucking kittens. So there's meaning there. So if there's meaning behind us, there can be meaning ahead of us. We have sentience. We have the past of beating the shit out of each other to get what we want, and then somehow we form the United Nations. Which is all just a bunch of beating each other up with fucking words and red tape. They're looking for something to do while something else has to be figured out. A whole new fucking just get rid of it all. Because just because we have the nakedest babies doesn't mean we are aware of the nakedness of our babies or the potentials of our babies, or there are things to be learned. We don't just get born with all the knowledge. We have to obtain it, retain it, and share it. Why? I don't know, but that's life.
Not sharing knowledge, I think, has been proven to not be good.
Mm-hmm. Because all of that knowledge is just like college knowledge. College knowledge, just because it rhymes, doesn't mean that it's better. Life knowledge. Sharing yourself as a person. Taking responsibilities, just being the example. College knowledge doesn't have the example that comes with it. You know?
Yeah.
So, if life has to be the most important, then you avoid death at all costs. As so long as it doesn't intrude or impede on life.
Okay. Life number one, death number last.
Well, no, because they're by dipole. They come together.
Okay.
You're the most concerned about death because you're the most concerned about life.
Okay.
But which direction from the center are you moving towards? Everything that you know about both those things have to be put on either side. So if a religion says, oh, you get to look forward to death, then gotta go. That's not life. Easy as fucking pie.
Okay, what's number two?
Love.
Love.
But that will come with life. It's like...
where does the truth lie?
Life? I guess it's all just truth and life. I don't know if there could be a list. There's like a tree. You can't find the truth unless you're looking, or unless you're looking for love, I think.
The love of wisdom. Oh, you sneaky breaky. So love. Like you just... yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Love and wisdom came together.
Need a motivation. And if you're not a robot, there has to be a motive. The best motivation It's not a fucking spanking. It's not a fucking... It's the love you feel for a person. But then you don't get it for... You have to fucking... There's a free will that you have to maintain that. You have to steer. Doesn't matter what time you wake up and go, oh shit, this is what love is supposed to be. You have to maintain your own fucking pitch and yaw and shit. You know? And that's what brings you to the truth.
Maybe that's why we all, sorry wife, especially myself, got a lot of anger. And we try to, since the bi-dipole comes together, that hate, that's the other side of the fucking love.
Yeah.
Spins us all in the wrong direction. And when doing that, can't find the truth. Can't find what's fucking right.
People have tried to instill hate in each other. What do you think divorces are for? It's to fuel that hate.
And then we're pointed.
I think men get their love and hate mixed up too much.
Yeah.
I think that they believe because they created and they conquered that they get to define what fucking love is. This says I love you, this says I hate you. But life ain't that fucking black and white for a lady. I exist too. And if you don't recognize that I exist too, and you don't mold yourself the way I mold myself, because all a chick does is fucking mold herself for... But in that molding, we find something about ourselves in there. You know?
Yeah.
We can't just... We'd be just kids painting on walls and shit. If, fucking men.
We're talking about molding.
Molding. We have had to mold ourselves for you. Like all throughout history is where just finding where we belong. And then they fucking before I think anybody could figure out anything, they took everything away from men let evil things take everything. All the time. I mean, even like, say, during like feudal fucking Russia. This is the best way to say it. Just, you know, like a whole bunch of people families who had certain places and they were warring and shit. How much did somebody give a shit about their life then? Where it's like, you know, did people look up to the most richest and poshest? Did they try to find a way to weasel their way in? Because those people were stupid. I mean, even in like monarchy times, you just gotta be really good at something and have it be all the craze, and you can have all the king's money. That's how Rome allegedly fell at one point, right? Because all the rich people wanted silk. All the fucking money was leaving Rome. Sneaky Chinese.
Still sneaky.
Yeah, right.
I played the longest game. But oh no, it's getting worse.
Ugh. I need to make his face on something instead of Daniel Jackson. Give him a break. Old Danny Shane. I'll put Chapel in a wheelchair.
Can we tag him?
Chris Chapel.
Chas Cripple.
Well, yeah, that. But because Chris and Chapel, like Christ and Chapel.
Yeah.
That's where they, or steeple. A chapel is where people go to pray. Fucking Zionist plot to keep us all hanging on our toes about China. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. Not many people were motivated by love throughout the ages. But now I think it would be really easy because everybody wants a fucking boyfriend, free girlfriend. But now you gotta, when you get one, you're gonna have to learn the other side of the story. Just like we have to learn about your fucking bullshit. I tried so hard. Like maybe I'll get as much as I give. Or something. There will be some sort of symbiotic relationship between. You can't just be all selfless for nothing. Because it just tears. That's what it women are so stupid. Women who take care of fucking men that don't give them anything, they're just getting drained. Where is your power? Just their power is going into having that man's anger. Getting angry. How dare you do this to this poor defenseless cripple? Fuck you. You know? They think they have power, but they can get smacked down. Are people just gonna submit? I don't think so. Something needs to change. Well, I guess that's really... That wraps it all up. Life, love, wisdom. Or truth. Everything blooms from that. Sun, water, dirt.
Freedom.
It will be there. It has to be there. To love someone, you have to have the freedom to learn how to love. Life. Life is freedom. Truth is freedom. It's all there, you know? In various stages.
Did you say that on purpose? Truth is freedom?
Why?
Because in 1984?
The truth is slavery. Oh, truth is free. No, I didn't do that on purpose. But that's why they say truth is slavery, because truth is freedom. They don't exist without each other. And fucking tweeting Candace Owens isn't gonna fucking get you shit. Buy my new mobile phone app. It'll keep the FBI away from you. Yeah, right. You're fucking... You glow. You all fucking glow. It's not too hard. If anybody who fucking makes a lot of money arguing and not saying anything good, you're a fucking glowy. Doesn't matter what side you're on, who's paying you. You're an idiot. Idiots glow. What do they think makes that shit so fluorescent? Because they're really good at their job and you can't see them? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You glow because you're obvious.
You glow because you're obvious.
Right?
Yeah. That could be a hat or a t-shirt. That's your merch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Have a little outline of a trucker hat that says Fed on it or something like that. You glow because you're obvious.
Sorry. Should we?
So there's this list. So you got truth, or not truth. You got life, love, the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. 1, 2, 3. Was there a 4?
All sprouts from the same thing.
So 3.
Yeah.
In that order.
I would say so, but they're all just at the same time, kind of too. Because it's just how big, you know, how deep is your love? How deep is your truth? How deep is your life? You don't just have like sun one day and water the next day and dirt another day to grow stuff. Right?
Yeah.
So same applies here. You have to know the truth about life, but there's deeper truth that you get with love rather than life. There's a deeper truth with truth rather than love. There's rabbit holes. The better you are at life, the better you are at love. The better you are at truth.
Of course. Your way of thinking, this philosophy of yours, try to define it, I guess, in a way, in order of succession. 1, 2, 3. But you can't fucking rank it that way because your thing is always the opposite of things people do.
Yeah,
You just like it's all
kneading
three of
dough.
them at the same time.
Yeah.
Instead of being do, you're all at once.
Yeah.
So weird thing.
Sports, I guess, if you want to add a fourth. I don't know why. Rangers, number 1.
We're closing down. It's 2 in the afternoon on Saturday. Nah, closing down.
My uncle used to work there. At some point, when my aunt used a whole bunch of drug money, or used a bunch of money to smoke drugs, or snort drugs, or suck drugs. I don't fucking know.
Is this before or after some of their criminal activity we found?
That criminal activity? Oh, after. That was some shit in like the 80s or 90s or some shit, right?
Yeah.
It was after that. Definitely after that. They only came up here for drug rehab and didn't leave, I guess. That's how people... That place fucking closed down. Now nobody has work. It's like the most pathetic thing. But who can survive anything? Now there's nowhere for the fucking drug people to go. It gave the drug people a reason not to do drugs because they could tell the people who were on drugs what to do and get paid for it. You know, live vicariously through them, and it was a system that worked. But when government fucking gets involved, nothing's gonna fucking work because it's gonna keep getting worse. And nobody wants to open a new fucking store, fill out fucking paperwork. Fuck you, suck my dick. There's no point. You take life out of everything, and there's nothing. That's why it's number one. You make me hate my fucking life. You make me wish for fucking death. It's just not, it's not the way it should be. And when you look up at those people, as opposed to down at them, you don't see that there's a life without them. A life that works well. Stay out of my fucking business. But it's not that simple. Can't be that simple. We could get this ball rolling.
What did you mean by we can have a life without them?
A life without the government. Well, men come together anyway. They can't come together to defend their homes, their lives, their families. They talk all on the internet now anyway. They can't figure out ways to communicate well. Well, obviously, doing it all at once is just fucking anarchy. But there has to be something to pierce. The shell of this fucking bullshit. And with enough eyes on it, the more people are gonna be like, why shouldn't I live like that? Why would anyone want to choose this life? If rich people don't have people protecting them, and instead those people are protecting their own families, then this shit don't matter. Every fucking man, and even the fucking Chinese army, they man the fuck up and go, I'm letting people hurt me and the people that I want to love. This is where I get to come. And then they have a daughter and they go, this is where I get to come too. I think having children is maybe not a set, maybe like a third chance or something, like a dying moment, like the moment you fall in love, a near-death experience. Hold on one second. It started lighting up.
I saw that. That was weird.
Is it a ghost?
Speaking to the microphone, please.
Imagine even just like Michael Jackson money. The CIA would raid us like fucking Waco. We just be two people. It takes more people than just two to fucking make dreams happen. But still. We're not even talking about God. Oh, but we're a threat. And somehow, just men get convinced to protect the things that are least valuable. Because they're given this fake value. That's gross. At least in the Roman times, you do good, you get land. Who's got that land now? Frickin' sucks. Should we,
Do a little bit of reading?
I guess.
We might be getting close to a stopping point. Yeah, we're about a page away.
Okay.
You want to read while I take care of the dog? We're on the page right.
He opened the diary?
Yeah, like a sentence or two into that.
Her voice seemed... Who's that? Oh, the woman on the telescreen had started a new song. Her voice seemed to stick into his brain like jagged splinters of glass. He tried to think of O'Brien, for whom or to whom the diary was written. But instead he began thinking of the thing that would happen to him after the thought police took him away. It would not matter if they killed you at once. To be killed was what you expected. But before death, nobody spoke of such things, yet everybody knew of them. There was the routine of confession that had to be gone through. The groveling on the floor and screaming for mercy. How would he know? The crack of broken bones, the smashed teeth, the bloody clots of hair. Why did you have to endure it, since the end was always the same? I wonder if that's why he gets the torture that he does. For some people, tickling is their nightmare. And then they don't die, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, you can keep going.
I can't keep going, but do you want this?
I would like for you to finish the reading.
Why was it not possible to cut a few days or weeks out of your life? Nobody ever escaped detection, and nobody ever failed to confess. Is he writing this down? When once you had succumbed to thought crime, it was certain that by a given date you would be dead. Why then did that horror, which altered nothing, have to lie embedded in future time? That's how you die. It's not old age. He tried with a little more success than before to summon up the image of O'Brien. We shall meet in the place where there is no darkness, O'Brien had said to him.
In like his dream.
Yeah, okay. So he's just fucking fooling right now.
Yeah.
Ugh. He knew what it meant, or thought he knew. The place where there is no darkness was the imagined future. which one would never see, but which, by foreknowledge, one could mystically share in. More imagining of fucking nonsense. His imagination is drawing him closer to his fucking enemy. Sound familiar? No. But with the voice from the telescreen nagging at his ears, he could not follow the train of thought further. I used to try to follow trains of thought like that and imagine in my head. And it was always a bad idea. You know? Hey, sweet boy. It was just fantasies instead of living. And that's not what your imagination is for. Not just for putzing around in La La Land, which everybody did, and now you can see it outside. But it can't stay there, obviously, chopping off their dicks and shit. The place where there is no darkness was the imagined future, which one would never see, but which, by foreknowledge, one could mystically share it. But with the voice from the telescreen nagging at his ears, he could not follow the train of thought further. He put a cigarette in his mouth. Half the tobacco promptly fell out onto his tongue. A bitter dust which was difficult to spit out again. The face of Big Brother swam into his mind, displacing that of O'Brien. That always fucking happens. It's like, O'Brien, Big Brother.
His brain is telling him.
Yeah, the brain is a fucking tool, and I'm sure if people stopped imagining in this fucking world with their fear, they would have, what do they, the foreknowledge or whatever, to see that Big Brother was a problem. Just as he had done a few days earlier, he slid a coin out of his pocket and looked at it. The face gazed up at him. Heavy, calm, protecting, but what kind of smile was hidden beneath the dark mustache? Like a leaden knell, the words came back to him. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength.
Is that the end?
Mm-hmm. Part 2. We're up to... Dang, we're not even halfway done. Should do that more often instead of... But it seems like the most thing, we gotta do that other splits game. Chirky jerky game. Sub 4chan. Sneed. Snoot.
I got it on the 4chan. It took me a second. Like, the fucking... Yeah. Snoot game.
Maybe tomorrow or something.
Okay.
Part 2.
Alright, I think you said some good stuff tonight, wife.
For me to poop on.
Find out when I listen to it tomorrow too. At least part of it. With the transcript.
Sniff my balls and lick my butt.